For each problem below, find an equation of the line with the given information. Right, number 1 says we have a slope of -3 and we have a y-intercept of 5. I do notice for each of these problems, we can either use y equals mx plus b, or we can use y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. This is the point slope form, and this is the slope intercept form. And I notice in problem 1 it gives me the slope and intercept, so it would just make more sense for me to use y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to put y equals, m stands for the slope, so the slope is -3, so it would be -3x, plus the b stands for the intercept, and they tell me that the intercept is 5. So that is my equation of my line. Right, number 2, the m equals -2, it passes through 5, 7. This is given in point slope form, so I definitely want to use y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. The y value would be 7. If you want to label that, go ahead. The m is -2, the x is 7. So if I rewrite this, this is going to be y minus 7 equals -2, x minus 5. Whoops, sorry, there should be a 5, not a 7. Okay, I'm going to distribute that -2. So I'm going to have y minus 7 equals, if I distribute, I'll get -2x plus 10. And then to get rid of this, I'll add 7 to both sides. So my equation is going to be y equals -2x plus 17. Okay, number 3, a couple different ways that I could do this. I believe I'm going to, on this one, actually use the slope-intercept form. So I'm going to use y equals mx plus b, because I notice I have the y-intercept. It's right here. It's hitting the y-axis at 2. And then if I look at the slope is up 1 over 2. So this slope is y equals, so my equation would be y equals 1/2 x plus 2. Okay, you could have looked at it this way. I could have picked 2 points on the line. Let's say I picked the point 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. This would be the point 4, 4. And this would be the point 0, 2. And I could have worked it the long way, which I'm going to work number 4. So that would be another way to do that problem. Okay, number 4, the line passes through 5, -3, and 7, 9. Well, first thing that I need is the slope, so I'm going to find the slope. I'm going to subtract my y's. So I'm going to take 9 minus -3. Notice this one I'm going right to left. You could just as easily go left to right. And then 7 minus 5. So leave change opposite, I get 12. Leave change opposite, I get 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. All right, and then I get to pick my favorite point. I believe I'm going to pick 7, 9. I'll use the point slope form, y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. My y is going to be 9. My m is going to be 6. My x is going to be 7. So I'm going to have y minus 9 equals 6 times the quantity x minus 7. I'm going to distribute to get rid of my parentheses. So I'll have y minus 9 equals 6x minus 42. From here, I'm going to add 9 to both sides. So I'll get y equals 6x, -42 plus 9 is -33. So that would be the equation for that line. Problem number 5, f of -4 equals 2 and f of 6 equals -3. This will not be a hard problem if we recognize what these represent. F of -4 equals 2 represents the point -4, 2. And f of 6 equals -3 represents the point 6, -3. We are then going to work it just how we worked the other one. We'll find our slope first. So I'll take, this time I'll go left minus right. I'll do 2 minus -3, and then over -4 minus 6. This is going to give me 5 over -10. And 5 divided by -10 is -1/2. It's not -2, so be careful of that. I'm going to go ahead and pick the first point. So I'll have y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. My y is going to be 2. My m is going to be -1/2. My x is going to be -4. Notice these two are going to become +4 when I rewrite it. So I'll have y minus 2 equals -1/2 x plus 4. I'm now going to distribute. I'll get y minus 2 equals -1/2 x. -1/2 times 4 is -2. To get rid of this minus 2, I'll do +2. -2 plus 2 is 0, so I'll just get y equals -1/2 x. You could write +0 or just, okay, this next one you'll notice I have 3 points on my line. I really just need to deal with 2 points, so I believe I'm going to deal with these 2 points right here. So I have 2, 5, and 0, -1. I'm going to work it just how I worked number 5 and number 4. We'll get m equals, I believe I'll go left to right this time, 5 minus -1 over 2 minus 0. I'll get 6 over 2. That gives me 3. So my slope is 3. So now I'm going to have y minus y1 equals x minus x1. I'm going to pick 2, 5. So my y is 5, my m is 3, my x is 2. So now I have y minus 5 equals 3 times the quantity x minus 2. I'm going to distribute to get rid of my parentheses. So I'm going to have y minus 5 equals 3x minus 6. I'll then add 5, and I get y equals 3x minus 1. And one thing that I would like to point out, if I had at this point in time done slope-intercept form, my slope was 3, and if you can look right here, my line is touching the y-axis at -1. I could have just put -1 in there right at the start, and I would have had the same answer. Right, number 7, if the data in the table is linear, write a linear equation. If the data in the table does not represent linear data, explain why it's not linear. So we just need to see, are the values in the table increasing or decreasing at a constant rate? So I notice the x's are going up by the same amount, so now I'm just going to look at the y's. I notice 10 minus 7, this is going down by 3, down by 3, down by 3. So there is a constant rate of change. So yes, it is linear. Okay, it didn't just say yes or no, it says to write an equation. So now I need to pick 2 points. I think I'll pick the point 1, 4 and 2, 1. So now if I subtract, this time I think I'll go right to left just to switch it up. 1 minus 4 over 2 minus 1. That's going to give me -3 over 1, which is -3. And then from here, I believe I'll pick the point 1, 4. So y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Whoop, I don't know why I underlined it. Let's see, y is 4, m is -3, x is 1. So now I'm going to have y minus 4 equals -3, x minus 1. I'm going to distribute to get rid of my parentheses. So I'll have y minus 4 equals -3x, and -3 times -1 is a +3. And then I'll add 4 to both sides. So I'll get y equals -3x plus 7. And then once again, I'm going to notice I could have done this one in slope-intercept form, because notice I knew the slope was -3, and if I look at the intercept right here, this is crossing the y-axis at 0, 7, so I could have simply filled in the 7 right there. But that will not always be in the table, so I would like us to know how to do this way as well.